Right now, a deputy is fighting for his life after being shot in the line of duty. Straight ahead, the latest on his condition and how a community is coming together right now to help. Plus, hundreds of people will be out today across the country making their voices heard against Planned Parenthood. We'll tell you why crowds will be joining in protest as well here in Central Florida. And all of Central Florida students will be back in school Monday morning. Coming up, what one county is doing to help keep your children safer while they're away from home. Your morning report starts right now.
From News 13, the morning's first news and weather together. This is your weekend morning news weather now.
Thanks for being with us this Saturday morning. I'm Caroline Rowland in for Sandra. Those stories are coming up in just a moment, but first, let's get to some weather. Meteorologist Jamie Martin is standing by in our weather center. Jamie, what can we expect today? A good beach day?
Yeah, it looks like a great beach day out there, that's for sure, because we're talking about hot temperatures across the area as we head our way through the afternoon hours, and very few showers expected. In fact,
a Brevard County deputy remains in critical condition at Orlando Regional Medical Center while the community rallies around him. Deputy John Casey Smith was shot several times during a prostitution investigation in Cocoa Thursday night. While he remains in ICU, community support continues to grow. Today, a blood drive will be held for the deputy in Titusville at One Blood Donor Center on Washington Avenue until 4 this afternoon. The deputy is receiving support from across the country and especially here close to home.
This is a very law enforcement community that really supports them, and it's been such a shock. Everybody today has been really upset and praying for the deputy.
Now, the man accused of shooting him, John DeRosa, is still in the hospital recovering from his wounds. Investigators say he shot Smith several times Thursday night. Deputies also arrested his niece, Mary Ellen DeRosa. She's facing prostitution charges and is in jail without bond. Our coverage of this story continues now online at mynews13.com. There you can find the latest updates, see Friday's full news conference from Sheriff Wayne Ivey, and read more about how the Sheriff's Office is using social media to reach out to the public about this case. It's all there for you right now at mynews13.com. Hundreds of people around the country are expected to protest outside of Planned Parenthood locations this weekend. One of those protests is scheduled for right here in Orlando at the facility along South Tampa Avenue. Planned Parenthood has come under fire recently after undercover videos surfaced allegedly showing officials talking about harvesting and selling fetal tissue from aborted babies for research. Planned Parenthood denies Center for Medical Progress's claims that they illegally sell organs and tissue from aborted fetuses, but that's not stopping pro-life advocates from gathering against the company's alleged harvesting of aborted baby parts. More than 250 of these protests have been planned nationwide. Week one is in the books in the long-awaited murder trial of an Orange County man accused of murdering a witness before his last trial. The week ended with testimony from Bessman Okafor's ex-girlfriend. Okafor is facing the death penalty for the murder of 19-year-old Alex Zaldivar in 2012. His ex-girlfriend, who is also the mother of his two children, took the stand to testify against him yesterday. Sharia Gordon is currently in jail for her role in Zaldivar's murder. She admitted to lying to detectives with a fake alibi to protect Okafor, but in fact, she was one of the drivers and served as a lookout.
He tells me to go down and pass a couple of lights and park on the side of the road and wait for sirens.
And the state also called detectives to testify about what they found on Okafor's phone and internet searches the night before Alex Zaldivar was murdered. Testimony continues when we return to the courtroom on Monday. By the way, Okafor is the last to stand trial in this case. Two other men have already been convicted in connection with Alex Zaldivar's murder. Danelle Godfrey and Emmanuel Wallace are both serving life sentences. Investigators say a few other people were also involved. Prosecutors say Nestle Cicerone and Okafor's ex-girlfriend were lookouts on the night of the shooting. Okafor's mother was also found guilty of trying to bribe witnesses in the case. A university president accused of trying to have sex with girls as young as 13 years old is now without a job. Kaiser University says they have fired Matt McKinney after the Daytona Beach police chief says he tried to meet the young girls for sex earlier this month. The victims allege that McKinney tried to grab their bra straps and parts of their bodies as well. Chief Mike Chitwood says McKinney's cell phone records led investigators to the teenage girls. The investigation started August 9th when police say the 60-year-old went to meet two of the girls, and Chief Chitwood says that night wasn't the first time he contacted at least one of them.
You know, my concern, not only as a police chief, but as a parent, when you have a 60-year-old man sending 50 text messages to a 15-year-old, that's not good.
Chief Chitwood is recommending several charges against McKinney to the state attorney's office, including luring an underage child. All kids in Central Florida will be back to school on Monday, and for the first time in recent history, officers will be in the classrooms this year instead of Volusia County resource officers. News 13 Saul Signs tells us the officers will not just provide security, they will also spearhead a new mentoring program.
Okay.
Michelle's Narcisi's two children attending Palm Terrace Elementary in Daytona Beach will have something no other child before them has ever had.
We've never had a full-time officer here at the elementary level, so this is going to be new for us. It'll be new for the kids and also new for the community.
I think that's great because back in Miami, we didn't have that. I was scared for my kids' life.
Officer Stephen Grant is one of 10 Daytona Beach cops who'll be working full-time inside Daytona Beach elementary, middle, and high schools, replacing Volusia County resource officers. The money comes from a 3-year federal grant. Principal Atkins says the officer was on the job weeks before the students' first day of school, becoming a part of school safety and security team, and has even improved traffic flow patterns for parents dropping off or picking up their kids.
So that when parents come on campus, we can have a better flow and just making sure that everybody on campus, you know, arrives and leaves safely.
So first day should not be as chaotic.
Should not be as chaotic.
The officer won't just spend his time on hallways and outdoors. He'll also be coming into classrooms like this one, where he'll meet one-on-one with students and teachers. The officer even has an office where he can work on programs to mentor students.
When we hear a lot of stuff in the news where there is a negative relationship between the police and the community, this gives us an opportunity to show that the police are our friends.
That way teachers can concentrate on molding the student's mind while this mentor works on strengthening the student's character. In Daytona Beach, Saul Signs, News 13.
To Orange County, a relief school for Avalon Park could soon get the green light. It's now up to commissioners to vote again on whether to approve a new school to help stop overcrowding at Avalon Middle School. Commissioners rejected the idea back in May, but the Orange County School District plans to buy more land in East Orange County to address concerns that the school was too big for its current location. Orange County's Planning and Zoning Board is now recommending that commissioners approve it. The rest of Central Florida students will be heading out for their first day of school on Monday. And if you are a proud parent, send us a picture of your little scholar as they head off for their first day. You can send them to us by getting the News 13 Plus app. It's free, and your pictures could end up here on the air or on our website. Happening today, a vigil to honor the life of civil rights advocate Julian Bond in Melbourne. This is in conjunction with the national gathering to pay tribute to the civil rights pioneer. Bond served as chairman of the NAACP and helped to establish the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He also served 4 terms in the Georgia House of Representatives and later 6 terms in the Georgia State Senate. Bond passed away on August 15th. He was 75. And get ready for some lane closures if you drive in the Apopka area. Road closures are starting tomorrow night, so work can begin on the Wekiva Parkway. This will include the westbound left turn lane from Connector Road to State Road 429, as well as an eastbound through lane in the same area. Now, these closures are allowing crews to build bridges for the first section of the parkway. Eventually, the 25-mile Wekiva Parkway will complete Central Florida's Beltway. Kids got quite the surprise as their educators showed up on their doorsteps. We'll tell you why coming up. Plus, your weather experts are keeping an eye on Danny around the clock. Tune in right here on News 13 for your tropical updates. In the meantime, you can also get a closer look at Danny on our website with our interactive hurricane tracker. Just go to mynews13.com/hurricane. Welcome back to News 13. Christmas came early this year for a bunch of kids. Some teachers went out bearing gifts for students. They went door to door delivering school supplies, and News 13's Sarah Bell-Sol tagged along.
From the classroom to the car.
Put them like leaning this way, okay?
These backpacks are on the move. On the other side of the door, little kids with big smiles.
One for you.
This year, they're going back to school with a brand new bag. And some much needed supplies.
Crayons and pencils and papers.
Are you ready for school on Monday?
Yeah.
They're ready for the first bell to ring at Dunedin Elementary, thanks to the neighborhood knock. Organized by teachers, faculty went door to door handing out the new backpacks.
This is for you, darling.
Thanks to donations from the community, the school was able to put together more than 600 of these backpacks to make sure each student is starting the school year off right.
It helps them because they feel prepared. They don't have to worry about that, and they don't have to worry about looking different, that they don't have the supplies.
Thank you.
A thankful 6-year-old and an appreciative mom.
She's really excited of the things that you guys are giving her. I'm very thankful for everything, and it helps out.
Helping out to get these kids excited for school and set up for success.
This is for you.
Right now, a community is stepping in after a deputy was shot during a prostitution sting. We have the latest on what they're doing to help him. Plus, still no agreement between the House and the Senate when it comes to new congressional maps. So what does this mean now? Find out coming up. And school will be back in session for all students in Central Florida on Monday. But parents, beware. We'll tell you what you need to keep a closer eye on this school year. Your morning report continues right now.
From News 13, the morning's first news and weather together. This is your weekend morning news weather now.
Good morning. Thanks for starting your weekend with us. I'm Caroline Rowland in for Sandra. Right now I'm joined by meteorologist Jamie Martin. Jamie, I know you've been following Hurricane Danny pretty closely, and we've had some developments.
Yeah, some developments. It's beginning to weaken a little bit, and that's good news. It's running into an environment that's not very favorable. We've got a lot of wind shear out there and some dry air ahead of it. So that's good news. We're expecting it to continue to lose its intensity coming up over the next couple of days. As far as our chance of showers, not as bad as it has been lately. You might want to make some outdoor plans, head out towards the beaches a little earlier from Flagler Beach. You can see the Beaver Tornado Cam at the Golden Lion restaurant showing some nice conditions out there, and boy, the heat is going to be on, so be a good chance to head out there towards the beach to cool yourself off. Low rip risk, that's good, but not much surf out there, that's for sure. The dominant period only 7 seconds. Water temperature 82 in Daytona Beach, 84 degrees around Cocoa Beach. UV index way up there at 11, so make sure you have lots of sunscreen if you're going to be heading outdoors today. Your tides coming up for Daytona Beach and Cocoa Beach coming up for today. Overall, looks like a good setup for heading out towards the beaches. Only about a 20% chance of showers along the beach, about a 40% chance across the inland areas. Of course, we're going to be keeping a close eye on it because we will see an increasing chance of showers and storms as we head towards the mid and latter half of the work and the school week ahead. We'll talk more about that coming up with your weather on the ones.
And yet another disagreement between the Florida House and Senate. Lawmakers just can't seem to agree on fixing Florida's congressional districts. As we've been telling you, the current map has been struck down by the state Supreme Court as unconstitutional, saying it was illegally drawn to benefit Republicans. Now, yesterday, the chief map maker in the Senate stormed out on his counterpart in the House.
This process was done from the start. Frankly, we were damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so, you know, I think at this point, I'm just going to, Chairman, respectfully reiterate the Senate's request for conference and leave it at that. Thank you.
And that's what led the House to call it quits, even though the Senate wanted to keep working. Now, Supreme Court justices could choose one of the two maps approved by lawmakers, or the court could appoint someone to do the job. Another option, the justices could redraw the map on their own. One day after more than a dozen people overdosed on heroin in one Orange County condo complex, Mayor Teresa Jacobs is now taking action. We first told you on Thursday about the overdoses within just 24 hours at the Blossom Park condos near the Florida Mall. Now, you may recognize that name. Earlier this year, the complex was condemned for countless code violations. Investigators believe someone in the complex was selling heroin, possibly laced with something else. The Orange County Sheriff's Office has already beefed up patrols at Blossom Park. Now Mayor Teresa Jacobs is dedicating a mobile intervention team that will be there all next week. It will include substance abuse counselors and a nurse to provide assessments and education about treatment options and community resources. You may also recall Orange County launched its new heroin task force Monday to help curb the problem as quickly as possible. Now, covering Seminole County, where another teenager is behind bars for carjacking a 72-year-old disabled veteran last week. We are not naming the 16-year-old due to our crime guidelines regarding minors, but we can tell you he was identified as the suspect who allegedly approached the vehicle, pointed a gun at the victim, and grabbed his arm, pulling him to the ground in the process. He's being held at the Seminole County Juvenile Detention Center. A 17-year-old has also been arrested in the attack. Brevard County deputy remains in critical condition at Orlando Regional Medical Center this morning. That deputy was shot several times while investigating complaints of a prostitution near a Cocoa home. Now today, the community is coming together in Brevard County for a blood drive. And News 13's David Bowden joining us now from Titusville to tell us more about that. David?
Well, Caroline, this is the site of that blood drive going on this morning. We are at 3880 Washington Plaza. The doors opened at 8 this morning, and folks are already going inside. They are collecting blood for the deputy who remains in ICU after a number of surgeries. Now, this all unfolded on Thursday when the agents with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office were responding to complaints of prostitution at a home on Covina Street near Cocoa, when investigators say John DeRosset ran out of his home and opened fire on deputies. Agent Casey Smith was shot several times. DeRosset was also shot and now is hospitalized. Deputies arrested DeRosset's niece, Mary Ellen DeRosset. She's facing prostitution charges and is in jail without bond. Now, the deputy is receiving support from across the country on social media, and people are posting signs of support in the neighborhood where he was shot.
This is a very law enforcement community that really supports them, and it's been such a shock. Everybody today has been really upset and praying for the deputy.
Now, again, that blood drive is here at the One Blood Donor Center here on Washington Avenue. It started at 8 this morning, and it will continue until 4 this evening. For now, we are on scene in Titusville. I'm David Bowden, News 13.
A corrections employee could be in trouble for accidentally allowing the wrong inmate to be released from the Orange County Jail. Right now, law enforcement officers need your help in finding Erica Espinaza. She was mistakenly released instead of another man with the same last name. Lamberto Espinaza's family raised the red flag after they asked why he wasn't released when they paid his bond. A jail spokesman says a corrections employee mixed up the paperwork for the two Espinazas. That employee could be punished. A Volusia County man is alive and well after being bit by a coral snake, the deadliest snake in North America. Now we're hearing from him about that scary encounter. We first told you about Troy Johns after he was rushed to a hospital. In a video provided to us by Florida Hospital DeLand, John says he felt a bite on his finger while he was picking up some hoses.
Driving to another job site, I got really dizzy. So I called my boss lady and told her, and she's like, call 911. I said, no, I'm okay. I'm going to go on to the next job. This was like 50 minutes later. And I stopped at the next traffic light and I started seeing double vision.
Johns is recovering at Florida Hospital DeLand. It's one of 3 hospitals nationwide testing a new coral snake antivenin. Johns says he's feeling much better now. Your county by county coverage continues now on this Saturday in Lake County. A man is going to lend a helping hand to manage a massive wildfire in Idaho. Lake Fire Rescue Battalion Chief Randy Jones will help out in the fire that has grown to 64,000 acres and destroyed more than 40 homes and almost 80 buildings. Chief Jones will be among 900 fire personnel working the wildfire. Turning now to Flagler County, where a major road project is heading into the 3rd and final phase. Starting Monday, crews will begin working on Palm Coast Parkway, working on the median, landscaping, and final striping and paving. Once completed in December, the roadway will be 6 lanes. And finally, we head to Osceola County, where the Kissimmee Police Department is reminding drivers to be more cautious on Monday when school starts. Drivers are asked to watch for children and beware of school zones and stops for school buses. Parents are also being urged to protect their children while they're traveling to and from school. Now remember, for county by county news anytime, just head to mynews13.com. It's official, 2 women have become the first females to ever graduate from the Army's Ranger School. U.S. Soldiers Captain Kristen Griest and First Lieutenant Shay Haver made history yesterday, along with 94 men. Griest and Shay completed the 9-week training program for the Army's elite unit and became the first women to complete the program. However, they will not join a Ranger regiment because women are still not allowed to. The military is preparing to allow women into other special operations units. Earlier this week, we told you women could get the okay to join the Navy SEALs. The Navy's Chief Operations Officer says any woman who can pass SEAL training can become one. More back-to-school coverage. Now we know that this can be an exciting time. Children will be meeting new friends and making connections on social media sites. Now most are geared to more mature members, but kids as young as 8 or 9 have been getting on these social media sites. Now one local teen met a man who she did not know was a convicted pedophile. Her mother says the 15-year-old will never be the same.
It's really put her in a bad place, in a very dark space. And it shouldn't be like that, because she should be bubbling in high school and having fun and not looking over her shoulder.
Law enforcement says parents have to be vigilant at monitoring their kids' cell phone and internet usage to keep them safe. We have a list of resources for parents on our website at mynews13.com. Less than 48 hours until all of Central Florida students are back in school, but some Osceola County parents still have some questions. So the school district has set up a hotline to help. The hotline is designed to answer any of your questions about bus stop times and locations, bus routes, specific school start and release times, and much more.
We want to make sure that any question that a parent has is answered so that they feel at ease as we begin this new school year.
The number for the hotline is on our website at mynews13.com/Osceola.